What up, soy boys? Unhinge those jaws and start pointing backwards, because this episode's going amazeballs. Abandon tea, all ye who enter, because when you gaze into the wall of Funko Pops, the Funko Pops gaze back into you. Fellas, it is Pride Month here at Super Despair World. Yippee! Pew! 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 Pew, pew, pew. Exactly. And you know, this means we're the only podcast that's welcome at Pride. And because it's Pride Month, that means we're gonna buck the trend. We're gonna do things a little bit differently. And for the next hour or so, we're only going to say things that we can be very, very proud of. So if you guys are as proud as we are, and at least a little bit gay for either of us, or very gay for your boy Murat, we've got some great ways you can demonstrate that pride.
Yeah, we have a Patreon, which apparently exists now. I just learned about it yesterday.
There's stuff on it now.
Yeah, there's stuff on it now. And if you want to join that Patreon, you can for free. And if you also want to join that Patreon and donate to us a sinister $6 to show your support for this lovely, lovely program that you are laying your ears on right now, you can do that. And it's not just a little tip jar for us anymore. You will actually get exclusive, behind-the-scenes, bonus episodes from the two of us, which will boggle your mind and will change your life.
Some heckin' bonus episode arenos.
Yeah, they're wholesome Chungus, Keanu 100, all of that shit. Yeah, the feedback we've gotten so far is that they're pretty heckin' wholesome merino. So yeah, you should definitely get in there. Whether you wanna open up your Neat Bucks wallet or not. I mean, we're happy to have you.
By the time you're listening to this, there's going to be 2 whole ass extra episodes on there, and not just regular episodes. We get a little raw, we get a little unfiltered. You get the true extra Despair World experience. It's more slop for your buck every month.
yeah. The slop bucket is overflowing here. It's overflowing, and we really set out to make those episodes and just like it's just gonna be us shooting the shit for an hour, but it ends up being fucking quality. We just can't miss. It's impossible for us to not just make a compelling episode every single time.
Our bonus episodes where we shoot the shit are just that much better because of the power of friendship. That's just what makes it better.
Yes,
other
exactly.
Podcasts don't have that.
No, they all secretly hate each other, and Briar and I, we set out to hate each other, but we just couldn't. We couldn't do it. We couldn't do it, folks. We couldn't do it.
We tried it. We tried it really hard, and just friendship won out. That's just the power of God and anime.
Yeah. And besides that, we also have a Discord that you can join for free right now. You could just get in there and talk with us and other really wonderful, awesome people and enjoyers of the show. And there's probably at least one person in there that secretly hates the show, but we're gonna dig you out. We're gonna find you. And
they don't hate it. They're just being tsundere. They're just doing that. I hate your stupid podcast, Baka. I'm gonna tune in for more.
we are Bakas. We get a little silly with it every week. But yeah, the Patreon rocks. The Discord rocks. It's only gonna get better from now on, so get in on the goddamn ground floor. You could be one of the foundational members of both of these places, or you can just sit on your hands and you know, like, just let life pass you by as you've always been doing all of this time, and just wondering why nothing ever works out for you. Take charge of your life, goddammit. This is your chance.
Become one of our little pay piggies, and we'll feed you really well, and you'll get really big and round just for us.
Yes, we will inflate you.
Should I mention that a few days ago, I released one of the Patreon episodes like an entire hour early because 2 people in the server like barked like a dog for me?
Oh, yeah, true. I forgot about that.
For a second afterwards, I had like, is this like an ethical thing? Should I be doing this? But it was too funny. And this show is all about being funny, not about being ethical.
That's the thing. Is this show is it's participatory. Even though you're not recording this episode with us right now, you do affect the flow of time. You can put your hands forth and your barking voice forth.
It was even better. It was even better. I don't know if they want to be named. I'll take a risk and say no for now. But it was even better because like one of the first person who barked did like a really really low like deep dog bark, and the other person did like a little like yappy little like foo dog sort of bark, and it was just really good. This is the kind of fun you can only get there.
Exactly. And you've never had fun anywhere else in your life, and this is your chance to have fun for the first time in your life in an online community, especially related to a podcast. So get the fuck in there, both of those things. There's no reason not to. Get in there. Yeah. Don't be scared.
Truly, nothing says fun like being 6 minutes into the episode and we're still plugging our shit.
Oh yeah. Well,
either way, whatever. We've got a lot in store. Dave, I have an important announcement to make to bring us into this episode.
Okay, go on.
I think the American people are tired of men. We need new men. The old men aren't good enough. We need some new men, maybe new males. What do you know about this?
Oh, new males? Are you talking about new males?
New males, also known as... So we were doing some research, and by research I mean like 5 minutes of Google searching shit. And the first thing that comes up on Google when I search new NU male is, did you mean soy boy? And it brings up the Wikipedia article for soy boy as a derogatory term. So new males, soy boys, it's I mean I'm sure like most degenerate meme shit that is crept its way into mainstream internet culture and beyond. Webster's dictionary defines a new male as
I'm pretty sure it all originated in 4chan, where like so like all right I'll flip this back on you. When you hear the term new male, what pops into your head?
I think of top surgery and taking tea. But I'm probably the wrong person to ask.
All right.
We need some new men. They're the version 2.0 now with thicker asses and the fucking I don't know. I shouldn't joke about that. I was gonna say something about, you ever see that one fucking Tumblr artist who drew like Captain America as a trans man, but it's like a really fucked up like caricature, and he has like a really busty chest or something?
No, but
maybe we'll bring that up another time. I'm sorry. This is my brain rot speaking.
Send me that for educational purposes only. I just need to see that just to, for reference.
It's not, don't get excited. It's not as fun as you think. I don't know, to answer seriously, maybe I'm not the right person to ask, what with being like a failed male myself. So
you're a failed man. Oh, well, all right. So
I'm sorry, you cut out after yours, so I didn't catch that.
Oh. I said you're a failed man, but in a funny voice.
Oh, okay.
So it wasn't sincere. Now it just sounds weird.
You just cut out. I didn't mean to like leave you hanging. Like, wow, that was really fucked up, Dave. I can't believe you said that.
all right.
We're leaving all this in, by the way.
let's yes, absolutely. Let me reframe that. When you hear soy boy, what's the image that comes to mind?
I think of what are their names again? Is it the McElroy family, the like podcaster, like white guys who have like a million fucking podcasts, and they're like vaguely progressive. They do the like. Do you know those guys?
Yeah.
No hate to them either. By the way, they just kind of strike me as like, okay, this is the typical like, I'm a progressive white guy on the internet, but I'm cool with all the gays. I'm very progressive. I'm not a dangerous man. I like all the safe, commercially acceptable things. I don't know. It's kind of like a bizarre mix of like things that are like not quite corpo, but very like advertiser friendly, and other things are like probably like a genuine, sincere, like left wing sort of sentiment. I feel like kind of some mix of that.
Yeah, so I've actually listened to My Brother and Me, which I think is the origin story of these dudes or whatever. But
that's their biggest podcast.
Yeah.
I've definitely listened to like a couple episodes a few years ago. It's very like, it's kind of a podcast about nothing.
It's a non-offensive, just kind of like nothing podcast, but
like it kind of seems like Joe Rogan for guys who are really into Funko Pops and like Marvel comics.
Yes, exactly.
And again, no hate to any of the McElroy guys. They are much more successful podcasters than us. But either way.
But that is accurate in the sense that these dudes do, and I just pulled up an image of the brothers. This is the soy boy new male archetype, according to the people who coined this shit.
I'm pretty sure one of the popular, well-known like soy jack images is literally one of them, like traced or something, but I don't know which.
Yeah.
I'm not a connoisseur of the Wojak school of art.
Well, like all right. So if we break this down from an in purely aesthetic sense. What is the archetypical soy boy new male? It's glasses, a beard, a like weird open mouth smile, and it's either
sometimes, but not always, like brightly colored hair. That's a big thing about like all these blue-haired SJWs.
It's either blue-haired liberals or male pattern baldness,
something like that. Yeah.
and that's pretty much it. And that is the physical archetype of these people, which is to say that just like, can I say more? Like beard, glasses, balding, How dare you? How dare you?
So like the whole new male thing, we're bringing this up today because I thought this would be like a fun little follow-up to last week, because when we were talking cottagecore, I feel like nothing about cottagecore was like explicitly this is a women only thing, but like everything I found online was basically just about like women being into it. Whereas I wanted to flip it on its head this week and talk about kind of, in the spirit of Pride Month, like what's going on with this like idea of the new male, the soy boy, the like this like caricature that exists in a lot of people's head of like an annoying kind of like left wing sort of archetype of dude. And you know, we talk often about this show about like going back like the last 10 years or so, like 2014, 2016-ish, when we really started hearing about all this SJW menace on the internet. And I thought maybe like let's try to like unpack where this came from, what's going on with it, what's purely just like a stereotype or imagined versus like what part of this is real, you know? Maybe we can start there.
Yeah, so what I was thinking about getting at earlier is like most of this like really kind of like shit posty meme culture shit, where it all comes from is usually 4chan, and I'm pretty sure that's where like the soy boy new male shit came from. I think it's 4chan with a little bit of sprinkling in of the like pickup artist manosphere.
Are you familiar with the? I think they're literally just called the bodybuilding internet forum.
Yes.
I don't know if they're still around, but that's like an old school one. That's like old internet.
That's where a lot of like things that have to do with weird like memes and ideas that have to do like I think the bodybuilding.com forums were actually like the origin story of like the what people currently call the manosphere.
I agree 100%.
Yeah. It was that, and then tangentially, because it was a little bit more obscure at the time, it was definitely like pickup artist forums, and like I think MGTOW shit is a little bit newer than all of that type of stuff, but like the pickup artist stuff has been around since like the early 2000s at the latest. It's probably been around even before that.
I think when we look at the term, how it's used today, there's kind of been like a combining of different subcultures, right? Because I think when I think about the origin of 4chan, it was like, okay, this is going to be like the English version of the Japanese 2-channel image sharing board. Mm-hmm. So a lot of like old school 4chan people, even before it got like really nasty with like the pole board and like B and all that stuff, it was always catering to like kind of like weird, like nerdy, like very guys who are very into like Japanese media and bullshit like that. Yeah. The more like weeboo, like incel side of things. Mm-hmm. Whereas like, which, you know, a lot of people say, oh, that's like a very like toxic dudes sort of space. But the whole like bodybuilding forums or whatever, and like the red pill like dating side of things. Yeah. That's kind of like the other side of things, of guys who are like kind of toxic, but also they want to like go outside and like meet women and like fuck them or whatever. Just to make it very simple. And I think over the last 20 years we've kind of seen like an imperfect sort of like mix of those two now, where sometimes you'll get like the weird like anime profile people who are like basically open pedophiles on the internet, and then you got like the hardcore like gym tradcath guys who are like you know, not like that. You pick up what I'm saying, right? But
exactly.
Both of them use this term now.
And there's a lot of different threads that come from this, and I think we could do a whole like a tangent episode on this, because there's so much to say on it.
Some might say that this weird genealogy of internet dipshits is maybe the entire point of this whole show. Maybe.
But like with all of the stuff that we've just kind of like touched on for the last the 10 minutes or so, they all kind of like reconverged in recent history into Andrew Tate. This is really what like all of these just like little threads of just like male anxiety, just like toxic, like kind of like insecure, like dudes who are kind of trying to find their own way and voice and all this type of shit, but they're really lost, and it just like it all kind of converged into Andrew Tate, which is why he had his day in the sun, and now he's going to Romanian prison. So fucking sayonara, bitch.
Yeah, if there's anything to hate Andrew Tate for, it's making me root for the cops just once. But hey, Romania mentioned.
Let's go.
It's also Romanian Pride Month. I've just decided. But yeah,
you're allowed. The Romanian Minister of Culture.
I don't need your permission, male. No, but what it's good you bring up Andrew Tate, because he was not just like the like when people like put him on a pedestal, it's not just like, oh, he was like the most bodybuilder guy, but it's also like there was kind of an element of like he was like a memester, right? He was like, oh, I'm not just this guy, I'm the funny internet person. I have a video. Oh, look, I'm pulling out a sword. Isn't that random, but also very masculine or whatever? And I think that was kind of like the unholy marriage between like the kind of incel crowd and like the more just conventional toxic dude sort of crowd.
Well, without question, and that's the thing, is that like these people who crop up, they're all addressing the same core fundamental male insecurities that these people have, but they express it in a different and unique way. And that's how Jordan Peterson got the foothold that he did, is he's just a fucking incel, but he wraps it up in this like pseudo academic like way where people can be like, oh, I'm just like an incel and I'm mad because I don't get pussy, but like actually, oh, it's because of like it's actually because of the
Men
dichotomy
are not living up to the Jungian archetype of the Chad. The young man today is now a soy boy. They make him do the virgin walk. They knock over his beans and they laugh at the boy. They go, look at this boy eating beans.
To that I say, no, I will not eat beans. I will channel my male energy. I don't even know what he would say at this
the
point.
woman they just knock over his bicycle and laugh at him.
It's because of woke moralists that they walked over his bicycle.
This is a bit of a tangent, but I remember I was reading about one of my favorite manga artists, Fujimoto, the guy who does Chainsaw Man, Fire Punch, some other ones.
Oh yeah.
There was an interview where he was talking about this story where he was in college and he was just like moving his bicycle around in like the parking lot or something, and some like mean college girls like knocked over his bike and made him like pick it back up. And it's really funny like reading all his stuff now that like his comics are just like full of like really dominant women sort of characters. I'm like,
that is I really wonder about like that dynamic too. Is like, how'd that happen? Like, he's just like walking his bicycle and just like this gang of women just shows up and they just start like pushing him for no reason.
Yeah, these feral women
like,
just want to
pick your bike up, bitch.
They just want to put this soy man in his place. He's a real one though, and I just thought that's really funny. I don't know, maybe that's the way to deal with it. Where
to just like
going?
Become an incredible manga artist. Is that how you got into art, Briar?
Maybe. Let's just say I've knocked over a few bicycles in my time.
Oh, okay, you were the bicycle knocker. Gotcha.
I flipped it on its head.
Okay, nice.
I have launched at least seven careers. Right. Okay. Let's get this train back on the tracks. We were talking about the origin of soy boy as a term. I think I wanted to bring up the bodybuilding forms because I think maybe to start properly unpacking the term, a lot of it like it's in the name, right? The whole soy thing. I think this kind of dates back to like, I guess it's basically been disproven as like pseudoscience, right? The whole like, oh, a lot of food contains this one type of soy which is gonna like feminize you, but like I think there was some stuff about like the chemistry where it's like, no, there's a very specific type of soy in like fucking like women like trans women's like HRT meds or whatever that's like that feminizes you, but like the regular soy they just put in a lot of food doesn't have that kind
where the misinformation stems from is soy products have they have phytoestrogens in them, which are like, they're compounds that kind of look like estrogens but aren't really. But so this was kind of like one of these like grifting health scares, which we'll talk about that in a later episode because we have tons to say about that shit. But
all the brain rot is interconnected.
It is all interconnected. That's a thing. But that's not really how it works. And I mean, shit, if it did, people transitioning would be way fucking easier.
Can you just imagine somebody doing like a documentary, like the old school Super Size Me, which I know, guys, I know that documentary sucks, don't watch it. Yeah. But could you just imagine some guy like, I ate at Burger King for a month and I grew tits.
Now I'm a woman. You know? But actually,
if only it was that easy.
our good our lovely we both enjoy H Bomber Guy. We referenced him before. And he did one as a response to one of these just like irrelevant fucking right-wing douchebag YouTube guys or whatever. And because like that person like called him or called somebody a soy boy. And so H Bomber Guy did a video where he like ate nothing but soy for like an entire month and like took like,
I think it was longer than that. I think it was like several months or
something.
Yeah,
it might have been, but but apparently nothing happened, like at all, because that's not how shit works.
Yeah, if only it was that easy, right?
Exactly, that's what I'm saying. That's in on the flip side of it, if only like we can think about like the Liver King, which everybody knows is this other grifter who is who's like, oh, you want to look like me? All you do is eat raw cow brains and fucking liver and steaks and
yeah, I brought this up before, definitely, but every time the Liver King comes up, I just think back to that one tweet dunking on him. There was something like he sells this diet that's supposed to be like really primitive and like caveman-esque, but his level of consumption could only be provided by modernity.
Exactly. But on top of that, he's admitted that he takes fucking anabolic steroids. Like on top of that. Like without, and we all knew this. We all knew this.
You're telling me this? I'm just hearing this for the first time.
Yeah, right. And like, sure, like arguably organ meats are very nutritious. You could get a lot of benefits from all of this type of shit, but it's like,
yeah, but you can eat your liver like a normal fucking person, right? You don't have to.
The guy's body type is that of a fucking Marvel like comic book. Like it's ridiculous. You don't get that from like doing bench presses and eating like raw eggs. No,
the Liver King,
he takes fucking anabolic steroids and he even admitted it.
Yeah, the Liver King is like the only human being drawn by Rob Liefeld.
Yes, exactly.
He looks like you know when you're playing like an old school video game or something, and you touch like an explosive barrel and starts like growing and getting and flashing.
Yeah.
That's why he looks like he's doing 24/7.
Yeah, in that man, hate to say it, he's got 10 years left in the tank. Like. At the most,
I'm surprised if he has 10 months, dude.
I don't know. Like that's a like I wouldn't be surprised. You would be, but you would be surprised at the absolute like fucking resiliency of the human body when you see people just fucking take it to the limit with like all of these.
What's that Simpsons bit with Hans Moleman going like, I'm 34 years old? I guess it's
a mixture of that and the other Simpsons bit where it's Mr. Burns like has like every disease imaginable and he's like, so like this is a disease and it walks through the door. But you have every disease, and they all can't fit through the door at once.
Oh yeah, they're all like canceling each other out.
Yeah, and he was like, so what you're saying is I'll live forever? And he was like, no, sir, that's not what I'm saying. And he was like, all right, goodbye.
Oh, what a show for the ages.
Oh God, remember when Simpsons was good? That was a good time.
I remember being 14 years old.
Yeah, Conan O'Brien. He was the glory years guy.
Let's bring this back a little bit. I think where were we going with this? Right. Okay. Perfect segue here. We were talking about like the whole like soy boy thing and the origins and this like weird like pseudoscience that appeals to like really toxic sort of guys or whatever. And I think a lot of this like so like we're bringing it back to the whole like soy boy thing and like unpacking the origin of this term, right? And like I think we have like a pretty good idea of like the sort of people that use it and like kind of the reasons why. You go back to this thing about like all this pseudoscience about like soy and like it's gonna feminize and like fill you up with like fake estrogen or some shit like that. While doing some research for this episode, I looked up some of the explanations for the term on like Urban Dictionary or some shit were like, oh yeah, a symptom of being too like feminized or having low testosterone is like over emoting, like smiling a little too wide. I guess men aren't supposed to smile very wide. So that's the whole like fucking like, oh, this is like the soy face where like they smile with their mouth like a little too expressive or something. And like a lot of that, like when I hear people like make fun of like the soy smile or something, they're like, yeah, look, all the people on YouTube are like really obsessed with this now. It's like a PR marketing thing that the corporations are like forcing onto men to make a weaker society or some shit. And I guess the direction I want to take this is when I think to the stereotype of what the new male is, it's kind of like this marriage of like a lot of like really toxic ideas about like masculinity and like biology and stuff like that on one side, but also and you know, people not living up to that, but also this idea of like the left wing sort of guy is just being like duped by like corporations and like, oh, this is what they're pushing on society, it's like commercially friendly or something, and just like just playing into this idea of that, like, yeah, there's like a commercial but also like social like disease sort of thing going around. Am I making any sense with this?
No, absolutely. In all both of those things, they fundamentally play into, or I should say, the response and origin of those things both fundamentally play into. It all comes down to male insecurity in the modern age at the end of the day. So like the whole thing of like the soy boy opens their mouth because it's like a signal of like weakness or deference. This is like it's a typical like evolutionary biology thing where it's like, it's complete speculation that some fucking imbecile just completely came up with as like a cocaine shower thought, and then they were just like, oh yes, this is fact. This is fact. This is how if you look at a chimpanzee, you could look at this video right now. A chimpanzee is playing with another chimpanzee, and he lost the wrestling match, and then he showed his teeth, which totally means that anytime you show your teeth, you are deferring to another alpha male, and you are a beta male, and you're a cuck, and you're a new male, and then you play the Nintendo Switch, and your wife puts you in the playpen, and she has sex with Tyrone. Like, this is clearly where all of this leads. Like, it's science. It's just science. It's just science. You can't argue with science. Sorry, facts don't care about your feelings.
If we started at like the ground level, and I try to explain to somebody like, oh yeah, a soy boy is like a very like feminized guy who likes Funko Pops, like that sounds like madness. Like, what the fuck does having like estrogen in your body have to do with liking a stupid shitty little plastic figurine? But like, if you root it back to all these insecurities, both about like, I guess like left-wing corporate shifting societal values, and like some weird perceptions about like male biology and how things are supposedly meant to work or whatever, it all kind of makes sense when you put it together as like incoherent and like batshit as it might sound on the surface.
Yeah, exactly. And then, wait, what was the second point you were making besides the showing teeth thing?
I think you brought up the showing teeth. I was just going to agree with you.
Oh no, I mean when you introduced the thing that we were talking about before, it was the showing teeth thing, and then
the like emoting too much, smiling.
Oh
smiling
yeah. Which like. I think that one comes from like this weird like idea of like how men are supposed to act. Like I always come back to this fucking stupid show for some reason, but I just think it's just such a great it's such a great example of like how fucking ignorant and lost dudes are. Is like Mad Men. Like people think that like Don Draper is this like really cool guy, or you look at like fucking The Sopranos, when Tony Soprano's like, what happened to the strong silent type? And people are like, yeah, that's right, like a man is supposed to be in some like old timey film, and they just like they're just like, they're cool.
He's supposed to be a powerful office guy who like slaps his secretary on the ass and fucks her when his wife isn't around or something like that.
I've looked at these like pickup artist forums before, and they all talk about like the ideal male, and it's like and it's some weird like fan, like these are probably dudes who've never been to a bar.
I mean,
before.
This is like an entire like genre of media, right? Or I guess like a thing going on, like, oh, here's all the all the characters, all the profile pictures of some guy who's like, you were not supposed to idolize this character, like Walter
for sure.
White, Tyler Durden,
exactly,
the Joker,
exactly.
You know?
And they like with Mad Men, like Don Draper, he's a handsome dude, and he like hooks up with a bunch of chicks, and he's like successful in his job, quote unquote. He's clearly a miserable person, and a lot of like really bad shit happens to him because of the way he is. It's not a fucking role model, guys, if you weren't clear on that. But
I always get Mad Men confused with that other show, House of Cards, which I think had Kevin Spacey, which that did not some stuff came out about him.
But like, if you think, okay, House of or Mad Men, if you got it twisted with that one, you're probably just young and you just need like a positive male role model. And fucking, hey, Dave at superdespairworld.com, hit me up. I got you, baby. I got you.
The email is in the description now. Actually send us shit.
Send either of us shit. Like I got you, baby. I will not let you go down the incel path if you're on the fence, at least. But if you watch House of Cards and you're like, yo, he's literally me, it's like, all right, just check yourself. Just check right.
I'm pretty sure
just go to your local police station right now and just grab a cell. And just
also, I'm pretty sure they just like unceremoniously killed off Kevin Spacey's character, even though he was like the main guy.
They did in the last season, because that was after all of the allegations. All the allegations came out, and it was like, and it was totally not planned. You could tell, because they just kind of tried to like retcon it. But
props to the writers for being put in that spot.
Actually, they did a good job. Despite that, it wasn't the greatest last season, but they did wrap things up pretty well. And the chick who played his wife, Robin, whatever her name is, she did a good job. So good job, everybody there.
You sure seem to know a lot about popular media, Dave. That sounds pretty soy to me.
Yeah, well, the thing is, I don't have male pattern baldness because my T is very high. I don't wear glasses because I have alpha hunter genetics.
Wait, doesn't high T correlate with baldness? I thought people get a bit of estrogen to keep their hair.
Hey, okay, that's a good point. Yes,
wait
correct. Yes, exactly. so that is a really good point. Is these are one of those stereotypes where they like for some reason, like every like soy jack is like a balding dude, and it's like, no, actually, hey, if you ever understood biology or science, actually, high testosterone correlates pretty heavily with male pattern baldness, because
I've heard of a lot of like trans women that were like starting to get the early signs of like male pattern baldness, and it just kind of like went away as they started transitioning. So something to be said about that.
So here's a fun fact. A friend of mine who will forever remain unnamed, like started experiencing male pattern baldness, and he said, well, I'm gonna take one of those one of those pills. I forget what it's called. Maybe it was finasteride or one of those things.
There's so many of
them. It doesn't matter, but he went to a doctor and he got one of those, and he ended up getting thankfully temporary bout of ED, because the way these drugs, from what I understand, again, not a pharmacist, not a doctor, how they function, from what I understand, is they block these kind of these kind of like the things that make you bald, which in some cases kind of interferes with the things that actually are correlated with with that, which is like being able to perform sexually as a dude with a dick and all of that type of stuff. So like, I mean, I guess basically the takeaway is like it's not. I think it like a lot of this comes from a fundamental misunderstanding of how the quote unquote masculinity plays into biology, which is like biology is fucking confusing, and masculinity is also pretty confusing because it's a bullshit fucking like cultural gender norm.
Yeah, I'm actually glad you brought this up because I was just about to move into the cultural side of things. Do you remember something? I want to say this was like early 2000s, like 20 years ago or so. We don't really use this word anymore, but do you remember when metrosexuals were a thing? Everybody was making a big deal about.
Yeah.
So like metrosexual, as far as I can tell, like in practice, it was just used to refer to guys who like wash their asshole or something like that.
Exactly.
But the proper definition was something about like, oh, a metrosexual is like a straight urban guy who shows some interest in things like shopping and fashion, which are stereotypically associated with like women or gay men, but they're not. They're just straight guys who are into that stuff. And it's like, yeah, like 20 years ago, like it seemed like the news and media and shit was making a really big deal about this metrosexual thing and a whole like perceived change in what the typical masculinity is in like the West or whatever.
Exactly. And I mean, one of the things in that era, that's when like gay went from like, well, gay is okay, but we don't really want to hear about it, to like gay is a little bit more than okay, and maybe some people want to hear about it. But like
to
also,
today, where gay is mandatory.
Yes, as it should be, Sinister $6 on Patreon.
Send a sinister 6 to us, and an even more sinister 60 to the Democrats. No, I'm just kidding. Fuck those guys.
Yeah, fuck them. But also, I mean, if you look at like that era of aesthetics and fashion with men especially, it's just like, holy shit, dude! Like watch like fucking Seinfeld from like the late 90s, or like fucking Real World or Road Rules. All those dudes dress like shit, dude. Their fucking fashion is ass. Like objectively, if you look at from any era, they're wearing the fucking ugliest, wackest shit, the most ill-fitting garbage. And it's like, metrosexual is like, oh, you wore jeans that fit today? You wore a shirt that wasn't from like Sears and actually like fits your body and like looks good on you and has like a nice color? Like,
the metrosexuals, you must be, Jerry. You telling me I gotta dress up to go on public transit now?
Jerry, I don't know, George. I guess you gotta wear a tight shirt.
I don't want to be sexual on the metro, Jerry. I'm sexual enough off the metro. I can't do a good Seinfeld bit. It's a little before my time.
Yeah, I haven't watched enough in a while, but
I'm not short little guy coded enough to pull off you know.
I mean George would have been a soy boy because he has glasses, he's short, he's balding, and he's pudgy. All he needs is a Funko Pop collection and a Nintendo Switch, and it's over, baby.
Can you imagine like fucking like Zoomer coded like Seinfeld? Like, I brought her over and she unboxed my Funko Pop, Jerry. It was limited edition.
You unboxed your Funko Pop?
It was limited edition. It was on the box. It's not
the
supposed
limited
to be
edition.
Out of the box.
She outed the box, the limited edition?
Oh, okay, all right. Where were we even going with this? Right, culture changes.
All right. So
whatever.
Funko Pops. We can talk about that.
Yeah, let's unbox that, if we will.
Hey.
Hey.
So that's another thing that obviously these weird and kind of like, I guess it's a straw man, I guess. Is that it's a straw man stereotype of a person that doesn't really exist and probably just serves
I think some of these guys, like definitely kind of exist. Like, some people are just like way too into like collecting stupid bullshit.
Sure,
but the straw man comes out of conflating like, well, if you're not into stereotypically masculine shit, if you smile too widely in photos, you must obviously be one of those like Funko Pop weirdos. And it's like, these are all crazy disconnected thoughts.
Yeah,
you sound insane. What are you talking about?
Yeah, exactly. And it's like, so I mean, it always comes down to, well, like, what is a stereotype? Like, they have a Nintendo Switch, they have a gaming PC, they have Funko Pops, they watch Marvel movies. Like what else is correlated with like the consumer culture of the new male soy boy beta cuck?
I guess maybe they're really into reading gaming journalism. They're really into Kotaku, and they're okay with what those woke liberals have done to our video games. They want to put the ugly women in the video games when they're not even really ugly at all.
Yeah. So that's the thing too, is that there's a bit of wokeness. They're probably like correlated with like leftism or liberalism in some sort of way. I do distinctly remember seeing like some chud subreddit at some point who like took like a few of these just, you know, public figures in the shithead leftist space of just like, they took like a screenshot of like the Chapo Trap House guys, and they were like, this is the face of liberalism, which is to say like, these are fucking beardos with soy phrenology, and they can't bench 300 pounds or whatever.
Guys who would basically be, and no disrespect to the Chapos in this particular instance, but like guys, I have other reasons to disrespect them. Guys who would otherwise be like, just look like any regular like manosphere type of like podcaster dude if they just smiled less or something.
Right, exactly. Or like Vosh with his former.
Oh no! You said the word. You said it. You broke the rule. We said his name. Oh
all
god.
Right,
okay. Well,
we'll edit it out.
As long as we don't say it 2 more times, he won't appear in front of us.
Okay, you're true. Right. But
we'll
I mean,
put that
it's
back in its folder.
But I mean, it all comes down to like this just like weird like body shaming thing of just like, it doesn't really matter what this person does or says, or I mean, I guess it does because they disagree with their politics or whatever, but it's just like, well, checkmate, because like you're soy and you're fat and you're bald and you have glasses and you don't have big muscles. And it's like, and the thing that I take from all of this is like, I would really love for these people to just post a fucking selfie like right under that post.
Oh, and you know they never do. The guys who talk the most shit will never post their own face.
For 2 reasons. Number one, they either look like one of 2 archetypes of that like whatever thing that they're shaming, or they're too pussy to ever post a picture of themselves online. Have
you ever seen that classic 4chan post where it was some incel guy and he took a photo of like a happy couple in public, like walking away from him, and he's like, look at these fucking assholes, they disgust me. And then from the angle of the sun, you can tell the person taking the photo is like 500 pounds or something like that.
Yes, the shadow. Yeah, that's a classic. That one is a fucking classic. Like, it's truly amazing.
It's all amazing. Like that.
Yeah.
But I thought as we're getting deeper into this episode, I kind of wanted to unpack what sides of the soy boy new male stereotype, what parts of that are like rooted in something real and true, because I feel like there's definitely some like embarrassing progressive lefty sort of dudes out there, right?
Yes, and I okay. So every broken clock strikes true twice a day. Yeah, assuming it's a 12-hour clock. But like, anyways, like there's always a grain of truth in all of these stereotypes. Like 99.9% of all of this shit is fucking nonsense. However, there is a bit of merit to these stereotypes, and I guess like right off the bat, I can think of like two ways. Number one is, and I think we touched on this like vaguely, is the consumerism of just like media, like watching current Marvel movie. I saw Captain America, and I think this is like the highest cinema on Earth. Like that's a valid part of the soy of the soy boy archetype.
Yeah,
right?
I see some of this in my own circles. Like I follow a lot of like tabletop RPG stuff, and I can tell there are a few people in the space who I won't name, no disrespect, get that bad, King, but it's like, oh, this person's like, they're very commercially friendly, they don't use bad language, they don't shit talk D&D, they're really more excited for the new fucking 5th edition book than like anybody on Earth should be. It's like, oh, okay, you're just here like this. It feels very insincere. It feels like a false sort of positivity that's like this is just to get that bag, right?
Yeah,
this
yeah.
can't be a real person.
Yeah, it's like the Reddit old guard, the very like cultivated post, like trying to be like a famous person in this space kind of bullshit.
Yeah, that is kind of what the Redditor archetype used to be. Like I feel like you don't really see them as much anymore, because I guess like we've had at least 10 years to thoroughly dunk on all the epic bacon narwhal bacons and
that's
like that, you know?
that shit is kind of over, and also like
we've pushed it back into the closet,
right? And now like Reddit has distilled itself as a social media platform into what every other social media platform is, more or less, of just like, this is just like the floodgates have opened. There's not even a semblance of like a culture here anymore. It's just like literally every single person on the internet is here. So it's not like there used to be like a quasi Reddit culture even after like Condé Nast bought them and shit like that, where there was still kind of like the Redditor archetype. Reddit doesn't mean anything, just like Twitter, just like Facebook, and all these other things. They're completely
Reddit is,
meaningless.
for all intents and purposes, the only good search engine now.
Yeah. And Reddit is like my fucking mom is on Reddit. Like it's just like Facebook. It's not.
Wow,
like,
that's pretty Reddit, Dave.
Yeah. Come from a long line of Redditors. Even though I was on Reddit
maybe
first.
we'll save it for a Patreon episode. Some people know what we're talking about when we say, "Oh, that's very Reddit."
Yeah.
If you want to hear us go truly hater mode, if you want to see us take off the shackles like the guy from Naruto or whatever that show was, sub to the Patreon. It's worth it.
Yeah, exactly.
Rock Lee, how could I forget Rock Lee, the only good character in Naruto? Anyway, sorry, go on.
Oh well. I mean, but I guess that's a big part of the actually true like soy new male archetype, is just like the consumption of current quote unquote, like they're the people who are like, oh my god, I'm such a nerd, I like Star Wars, Harry Potter, Marvel, and Nintendo.
Oh, that's like the millennial stereotype almost, right?
Yeah, but I think the new male stereotype really is encapsulating like a very millennial I'm a geek. This is back before like geeks would allow themselves to be called nerds. They were like, oh no, it's geek culture, you know, I like D&D, I like video games, I like comics, I'm a geek.
Oh yeah, guys
but I'm not
who
a nerd.
go through like their entire life with this like victim complex.
Yes,
like, well,
yes.
I got bullied for this for like briefly when I was a kid, so now I get to have this underdog complex.
Exactly.
And
these are all the
hobbies.
Yeah. And these are all the deranged dudes that are on tour, like fucking Grums. Like that's a typical case of this type of shit. Is like this just like dude who got stuffed in a locker. He's a fucking loser. And then now it's just like, well, I have a platform. Like, I just say the dumbest shit ever. And it's like, man, you'll always be a nerd and a loser until you actually deal with the fundamental issues that plague your soul. And I hope you do, but I don't think you ever will. So continue having that fucking bitch ass little profile picture.
I think his profile pic looks like a dumb little baby, and I honestly think he just needs to get aborted.
Oh, shit. Yeah. If that profile picture was a real creature, I would kick its fucking head off.
Yeah, me and my friends would just beat it to death with hammers.
Yeah, it's a fucking homunculus that we cannot allow to exist.
I wanted to run something by you. First of all, I agree with all that stuff about the consumer whatever thing. I had this idea about, I think a lot of the like embarrassing, like cringy left-wing sort of people stereotype, I think a lot of it also comes out of like college kids, and how like if you spend too much time in like academia, you kind of becomes a little out of touch. Like what do you think about that?
No, I agree. I agree with that for sure. Yeah, I think it's just like I like that the overall or the overarching kind of like thing that like academia kind of like or just more like educated people in general, although like I even have trouble saying that because of just like my umbrage with like higher education in general, but like
maybe what if we limit it to like humanities degrees sort of people?
That's even besides the point. But like, okay, let's. I'm gonna set all that shit aside. That's a topic for a future episode. But like, okay, like I like the overarching like just squeaking through progress of just people are like a little bit more aware of how shit sucks for a lot of people, and maybe we shouldn't make it suck that much. But like, yeah, I mean, like, I think a lot of the well, like the whole thing with like the soy jack, the soy beta new male thing, it's very reactionary in the sense of like these people annoy a certain demographic of people because they represent, and I think this is related to what you were getting at, like kind of like the quote unquote coastal elite, in the sense of like, oh, like these are the people who are just like going to MIT and Harvard, and like they get to decide how things go, and they're just a bunch of like weak bitch men who they don't understand that like that like race matters, and they like think that women can be firefighters and all this type of shit, and it's like we need to like stand up against this, and this is why Western society is falling. This leads to the destruction of Western society.
I actually have a really good example of that kind of recently in the news. I think they've kind of settled down a little bit right now, but like a couple weeks ago when the really intense like pro-Palestine protests were going on college campuses, I remember seeing this news clip from what's his name, fucking Joe Scarborough, that piece of shit asshole. He's like a news anchor, opinion guy.
Yeah,
and he was going off about like these kids are going to college and they're wasting their parents' money going here, and it's like, bitch, shut the fuck up. Those students probably are working like 2 jobs to pay for their own fucking education.
That's such a classic. That's such a classic like talking point. I remember my fucking dad said that once, and it was like, that's when I was in college, and I was like, yes, I am one of those. Like, yeah, it must be my liberal professors brainwashing me. It's not just because like we like read books instead of listening to fucking Rush Limbaugh, but yeah, it's I mean, like all of this shit, all of this like straw man, like this is why society sucks. It's because of like soy cringe men and shit. It's all a reaction to some sort of insecurities. Like at the end of the day, right? Like it all really comes back to the same thing with all of this shit, and it's kind of like fucking tiring. It's just like, man, I get it. Like I'm fucking broke. Like I'm not really happy about the way things are going on, but it's like I'm not just like inventing some Wojak meme to be mad about. Like fucking get mad at the people who are really fucking your life up.
Yeah, there's something to be said about like, I don't know, a lot of the people who hate like college and education and just like academia the most are like, these people haven't actually spent any real time there to build up like a proper hatred of the real things about it that actually suck. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. And it's I agree, but not for the same reasons. I have a fucking serious, like concrete, actionable reason. And you're just like, it made them woke. And it's like,
yeah,
oh my God.
Every time I'm out here in the countryside, rural Canada, and I hear somebody go like, "Oh, I hate Justin Trudeau," and I'll be like, "Oh yeah, I don't like him either," and like I have valid reasons for not liking him, like all the fucking like campaign promises that he just hasn't fucking done in however many fucking years he's been here, and then they'll be like, "Oh no, I don't like him because he lets all the sand N-words into the country." I'm like, okay,
right.
Well, what am I supposed to do with that?
And that's the thing. It almost feels like a fucking psyop sometimes. And I'm not like tinfoil hat it enough to think that's actually the case. But it's just like, oh, you were so close. But now I just can't. Like, now you're just making me look bad. And I have a fucking, like, as we all know at this point in the show, Briar and I always have perfectly 100% correct takes on everything. But then it's very annoying when we take these 100% correct takes, and then there's somebody who's like, yeah, I also hate Joe Biden, but it's because he made the trans bathroom with the gas prices go up. I'm just like, oh,
wow, base. Yeah, you know, like I have plenty of stories I could tell about ways that I think, you know, colleges are kind of out of touch. Like I've had some fucking absurd classes that I just like I had to drop out of.
Same.
One of the ones I was gonna bring up. Longtime listeners of the show will know that during my 5 years or so in college, I have like alternated between a psychology and like a fine arts sort of degree. I've been in the art program. I've been out of it. But while I was working towards psychology, there was this one elective that kind of stood out to me, and it was something like it was like a women's study program class, but it was called like the history of psychology or something like that. And you know, I was like, okay, that's fine. And you know, this was quite a few years ago, so put yourself in my shoes, not yet like presenting female in real life or something. I go into this women's studies class, history of psychology or something like that. Everybody else in the classroom, like 30 or so people, are all just cis women, and I'm just sitting there very awkwardly. And it's like the first day of class, and the professor is going over like the syllabus for the stuff we're gonna do this semester, and like it's the typical like humanities thing. It's like, okay, we're gonna go through a book, we're gonna do these chapters these weeks. There's gonna be like 2 or 3 big essay projects, then there's gonna be like a bigger like presentation research project that'll take like a few months or something like that. And I remember, I think the thing that made me nope out of this class was part of the really big, like mandatory biggest part of your grade research project was one of the things they wanted us to do was like, you have to go and interview 3 women in your life about their menstrual cycle or some shit like that. And I'm just sitting here like white knuckling my hands under my desk trying to be fucking normal about this. I'm like, I'm sorry, you want me to do what? You want me to just ask people about something so like intimate and biological like that? And I'm like, all right. And I just stay quiet the entire rest of the class. And I had to drop out of it because I'm like, this feels kind of insane, right? I don't know. Like, I'm pretty progressive. I'm pretty woke, as it were. I feel like, I don't know. I don't see the point of this. This seems like a very bizarre thing to work into, like, a psychology class about, like, I guess the history of like this field of science related to women or something like that. I don't know. I think the program's kind of out of touch. I think
100%.
My life is not better off if I had stuck it out there. But you know, it was just a miserable experience the entire fucking time.
So that's a thing that I was gonna like. First of all, like that is so like 1970s like mindset of just because like, all right,
this is like pure like Andrea Dworkin whatever, like second wave weird stuff.
So what I was gonna say is like as a fairly like, I mean, this is subjective but mature like cis het white fucking dude whatever, like. And I have a bunch of female friends, both platonic and not, and you know, I'll talk to them and they're just like, what's going on? Just like, having a bad day, I'm bleeding out of my pussy, like I got cramps and shit. I'm like, that sucks.
Yeah, but you're not gonna sit down with like an open notepad and ask them for additional details.
But so that's the thing is like, I think they're trying to frame this as like the period is secret. It's a secret thing, and all women keep, because of the patriarchy, they're not allowed to talk about that. And it's like, no, like, cool, like maybe in the 70s or the 80s, like that's kind of how it is. Now it's just like I've had no women be like, actually I can't, I have to go excuse myself to the restroom for a reason. It's like, are you okay? It's like, I can't talk about. No, they're just like, my period. I gotta put a fucking tampon in. It's like, oh, okay,
yeah,
cool.
And
like, good luck with that.
It's everybody like, who's like,
it's just
really
fucking
weird.
Stupid.
Everybody who's really weird and particular about menstrual stuff, honestly, these days I just take it as like a dog whistle for like turf shit. You know what I mean?
No, for sure.
I didn't stay long enough in this class to find out if it was like turf shit. I don't know what the politics of my professor where I was there. I made it like 2 weeks into that class. But I guess I brought this story up, one, because it's really funny in hindsight, and two, because it's like, what are we doing in colleges? Is this worth paying like a couple $100 every semester for? What am I getting out of this?
It's not. And everybody who's still listening at this point, we're gonna do a fucking giga episode on this. We're probably gonna do a series on this, on education, because this is I know Briar has a lot to say on this. This is like actually my fucking autistic hyper focus.
I think I've said before that the one graphic design course I took near the end of my college career, it literally like destroyed my self-esteem in art, and I didn't draw anything for like 3 or 4 years after that.
Yes, so. I've been oscillating between like tolerating and being completely and utterly black-pilled on education throughout probably the last like 30 years of my life. Like I have so much to say on this. It's an absolute fucking nightmare, and well, like to tie it back to kind of like start wrapping up all the fucking completely unhinged tirades that we've been on. I think this stereotype, this archetype of like soy boy, beta, cuck, male, redditor, whatever. These are the type of people who will kind of stand up for the system. Like they're the types of people like that, because like I want to tie it back to like why this archetype exists. Is like there's a lot of people who like get pissed off at the straw man that they've created in their mind of like the Nintendo Switch playing PMC, like just suburban like computer programmer, balding glasses wearing fucking white knighting liberal dude. But like this type of person, and the reason that they hate them, and that I also hate that person if they were to exist, which they kind of do but not really, is that these people are very apologetic for the incredibly broken system that we find ourselves in. And like they say like, oh well yeah, homeless people shouldn't exist, but also like, but also like I'm a neoliberal and I agree with capitalism because the other systems didn't work, and also like if there wasn't capitalism, like we wouldn't have Tears of the Kingdom on Nintendo Switch, because the only way this could exist is if the company had enough money with like the shareholders and everything. And it's like
Rockstar Games needed to make that guy crunch for 8 months straight to make the horse's balls shrivel up a little bit when the weather gets cold in the game. This was an important feature that we needed to do.
Exactly. That's very important. And also I do agree that that the college is like should be cheaper, but also like, have you considered that there's scholarships if you got a job like me, I'm a systems engineer at Cisco, because I followed the path, and I have a good job, and like I'm on a path right now where like in 14 years, with if I just put a little bit of extra money into the my student loans, like I'm gonna have that paid off by the time I'm 39, which I think is pretty good. And you could do that too, but like you have to get a job that makes money. Like if you want me to review your resume, it's gonna be fine. And also like I just think like I'm really sorry about what happened to George Floyd, but like we need police, because like the other day there was a guy in my neighborhood, and you know, he made
Dave,
me feel
my desire to knock over your bicycle is just like reaching an all-time high.
I was waiting how long you would let me fucking go.
This is our
I was so locked in. I just felt
game of chicken. I was waiting to see how long you were gonna drag this fucking bit out.
I just saw like
You just had to keep going.
The beard on my neck was just growing out so far, and like it was fucking awesome. It was awesome.
Your voice just getting higher and higher as your jaw unhinges a little bit more, revealing more and more of the inside of your soy mouth.
Yeah, every every nanoliter of melanin was just like completely just evaporating out of my system. It was I was in a fugue state. I'm sorry.
Reaching dangerous levels of white. We're gonna need to lower that luminosity.
All I was thinking about the entire time was like boiling a chicken breast and maybe getting dangerous and putting a little bit of salt and pepper on that. But
maybe a little bit of ketchup if we're feeling,
spicy. I don't know.
I think I have some good things to wrap this up.
Yeah.
I kind of missed out on this early in the episode when we were talking about the soy face, the open mouth look of joy and happiness or whatever. And we kind of tied it back to the whole like pseudoscience of like, oh, soy makes you more feminine, which makes you smile more, and men aren't supposed to smile. But more broadly than that, that's kind of like it's kind of like a cringe culture thing, right? Like when I look at like a lot of the disgust people have towards like the soy face, I think a lot of it just comes down to people being like disgusted that people are like openly expressing some kind of like joy or happiness about something. And it's like people need to fucking work on that, because it's like I think a lot of this just comes down to like kind of like an authoritarian mindset, right? Like everybody needs to be put in their place. There needs to be like this fucking hierarchy of like the based chads and the cringe soy jacks or whatever. And the soy jacks are cringe because they're like failed men. You're supposed to do X, Y, and Z if you're a man. And if you're not those things, then you're just like a failed like beta soy boy cuck, whatever, and all that stuff. Like we don't need to unpack how like a lot of this stuff is just like the fucking like Nazi like Untermensch like inferior type of human bullshit.
Yeah,
I think, I don't know, like at the end of the day, I think if I was to like try to make a message, try to like bring it all home, like what the point of this episode was, I think it's just, if you find yourself like taking a lot of time out of your day, if you like constantly obsess over like a certain like type, like a group of people, maybe like, I don't know, the whole like SJW stereotype or something like that, or it could be like anything at all, really. Like I have my own struggles where I have a very negative perception of a lot of like other like online lefty type people, just because you know, I've been in those spaces, I've seen them at their most annoying. But like if you have like a personal like vendetta or a grudge or just like an obsession, and you're constantly posting about this type of person, or like a starter pack meme about this type of people, or just like drawing like weird little caricatures of them on social media or something, it's like, I don't know, maybe a lot of this is probably in your head. Maybe you need to like just deal with people as they really are, and just like step away from this like bizarre like fucking fantasy where you're basically just playing with dolls on the internet in front of everybody to see, and like fucking grow up about it.
Exactly. And I'm going to speed run tease like a bunch of shit that we're going to talk about at a later date.
Before you do, I just want to bring one last thing.
Okay, go ahead.
I'm not going to mention them by name, but I will say, you know, we've had a few scuffles with types of dudes on the internet.
Yes.
And I was recently looking at one of them on Twitter and their profile, and I will not mention this, but I decided to do a little bit of math, and I saw, okay, at the top of this person's Twitter account, it says they have made this many posts, which includes like their own tweets and retweets or whatever. And it also tells you, oh, this person signed up for Twitter on this month of this year. So I did the math. I broke it down. I was like, okay, this guy,
they did the math. Am I right?
True. Wow, thanks for the gold, kind stranger.
Hey.
So I did the math, and I looked at, okay, this person has been on Twitter for roughly 2 years, and they have about like 100,000 fucking posts, something more than that. And the math worked out to like, oh, this person tweets on average 150 fucking times per day. And I'm like, this is the type of person that was really fucking mad at us. And it's like, this is what I'm getting at with like being obsessed about a caricature and just letting it take over your life, and just like being consumed by the hate and the rage, and like you're just going deeper and deeper into this insane fantasy, and it's like you're becoming out of touch. These aren't real people. You're not concerned about real things. You have drawn like a scary boogeyman in your head to be mad and upset about and scared of, and it's just kind of pathetic. And I think that's all I got for this one. So so bring it home.
So that, I mean, it's truly like as much as it's funny to make fun of these people, like it is truly like actually sad. Like it doesn't make me feel good to dunk on people like that, because I think that there's something going on there. But it's also like, well, I'm not gonna let you get away with that either, because we can't normalize that type of behavior at the same time. But
there's a time and a place for a dunk, but 90 maybe even more % of the time it's not worth it, I don't think.
Yeah, but what I was gonna get back to is like I'm teasing like a bunch of shit that we're gonna talk about on a later date, but like
next time on Super Despair World.
Yeah, well, when you were talking about like you know, like seeing the cringe and like online lefty type of people, it's like, well, this is actually one of the reasons that I'm so vehemently rally against like a lot of different people, including like incels, pickup artists, like men's rights people, and all this type of shit. Because
Democrats.
Yes, actually, unironically true. Because I used to be a lib, but I was like fucking 19.
Yeah, no,
for
real. Fuck
give me a
those
break.
guys.
Give me a break. Give me a break. But like,
I don't think they're all pedophiles, but they're bad on their own merits.
This was in like fucking fucking 2000. Like, I didn't know any better. I thought Obama was gonna be change and hope, but then I quickly learned. But like the thing is, like, I was like curious about these things, and I was like, maybe they have a point and all this type of shit. And now I'm just like, no, fuck all of this shit. I feel like a distinct need to speak out against all of this shit. Like, not only to just like dunk on like Andrew Tate people because they're cringe, or like make fun of pickup artists and fucking MGTOW and incel people because it's funny to point and laugh at them. It's just like, no, dude, like these people are preying on, again, like all this other shit, fucking insecurities about people, because everybody's insecure now about a lot of shit, or at least like the vast majority of people. And if they're a little bit lost and they're looking for some sort of thread, some sort of hook to get on, it's like, oh man, it's really easy to hook some fucking lost, lonely loser dude into being like a fucking like a MGTOW guy, or a pickup artist guy, or a fucking manosphere guy, or like a fucking
Do I
chud,
need to change and become a better person? No, it's the women who are
exactly And that's the thing, is all of these people offer it like an answer to all of your insecurities. Is not like, well, it's a complex web of all sorts of shit that is going to be really difficult for all of us to get through as a collective. No. It's because like new males are consumers, and they're woke SJWs, and Tyrone fucks Stacy because of hypergamy and the cock carousel, and the liberals again, are groomers. Yeah,
this is all just like playing with dolls. The fucking the Chad, the Stacy, the Tyrone. Stop naming your stupid little dolls. Okay,
exactly. They're inventing things like, and it's very easy to invent people to be mad at for people who don't talk to real people ever. They don't interact with anybody ever.
I think that there's some statistic out there about like fucking like acceptance rates of gay people, even among like conservatives, go way the fuck up if they know even one real gay person in their life. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Like absolutely. Yeah, and I've even seen this shit in real time, where I've talked to somebody and they were just like, yeah, I'm like a fucking I'm a centrist, I'm a conservative, and like I'll talk to them for like a little bit, and I'm like, yeah, I'm actually like a fucking, I'm like a leftist, like I'm kind of like a Marxist, I'm like a communist, and they're like, oh, but I agree with what you say, and it's like, yeah, because like we're like probably like 90% of the shit that we say we're in agreement with. It's just like,
and then you tell them you're a podcaster, and suddenly they're like wiping their hands on their pants, and they're like, I'd
never tell anybody that. I'm gonna be closeted until I can finally reach podcaster Mecca, which is to never leave my bedroom ever again.
That's the real Pride Month we need. We need justice for the most oppressed minority podcasters.
yeah, truly.
If only.
Truly. Yeah, you can consider the Patreon, or the sinister $6 that everybody of value gives us. And if you wanna be a high value male or female or non-binary person, that's basically what you can do, is to give us a sinister $6 for us to provide you with these again, objectively 100% correct takes in all senses. Like, I mean, there's nothing that we've said in this podcast that was like the slightest bit incorrect, or even like slightly like misguided. I don't think so.
Is this our segue into ending the episode, into thanking our lovely patrons?
Yeah, I mean, that wasn't actually the intention, but I think it was, maybe subconsciously, because I'm a new male. I can't.
All right. Step aside, male. Let a woman finish the show properly.
Yeah. I can't communicate directly because I'm too soy.
Yeah, exactly. All right, guys. It's not easy putting the show on every week. We have to talk to each other on Discord for an entire hour, sometimes like 90 minutes. And you know what? Your love and support, and more importantly, your money makes it all possible. So we want to shout out all the people who make this show what it is, but not just the patrons. We love all our listeners, but for $6, for a sinister $6, we thought we'd highlight a few of our favorite little pay piggies today. And you know, since the last recording session, we actually have 3 new patrons. Wow, guys, all joking aside, I'm kind of floored at how much the show has grown in like the last month or two. So from the bottom of my heart, sincerely, thank you guys so much. Wanted to shout out the new patrons first. We got Knackles. Welcome aboard. Love to have you. Always looking good. Always looking fresh. Nax, you're great. Shout out to FNL47. Your boys on YouTube, cannot wait. We'll see you very soon.
Yeah.
And shout out, last but not least, this person actually signed up a bit earlier, but there was some like payment processing bullshit. I saw you.
Goddamn banks.
Yeah. The banks tried to keep your money away from us, but we made it work. Shout out to the mysterious T, just the letter T. Maybe a Mr. T. That would be cool. Or a Mrs. Or a Mixes. I think that's the non-binary one. I don't know what your gender is. Shout out T, our very lovely new patron, sending us that sweet shadow money.
Yeah. Anyways, T, welcome to the fold. Love you.
Yeah, welcome all of you guys. But that's not everybody. Let's run through the list. Let's shout out our long-term patrons as well.
Here are the OGs from the top to the bottom. We got Braid Zero. Braid, love you, baby. We got Trevor Stilson. We got Heresy. Ooh. We got Dimbus. We got Nilly. Ooh. We got Weasel. Ooh.
And Weasel's wife.
and yeah,
so it's a package deal.
Yeah, it is. We got Walker. Ooh. We got Clam. We got Trash Bins.
Pew 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 pew
pew pew pew pew. We got Nick.
Yippee.
It's hard to find a different a different noise effect to make for every person. We gotta get the goddamn soundboard up. All right, maybe all right. I'm moving next week, everybody, and then we're gonna get a soundboard.
Don't worry, I got a sound effect or two in me.
Okay, and then we got a Protagon.
Awooga.
That's a good one. And then last but not least, our dear, lovely Shalom guy.
Wow. What's is that the Among Us thing?
Oh, okay. Yeah.
we gotta get that soundboard. Anyway, love you guys. Thanks so much for supporting the show. If you're listening right now, don't forget we have Patreon shit for you guys now on the Patreon. Or check your email if you're on there if you want to listen to it on a much better player than what Patreon gives us.
Yeah. You should be able to get the RSS feed from Patreon. And you could listen to it on the Patreon app. Never used that before. It's probably shit. But just kidding. Patreon, we love you.
And if you have any problems with that, send a tech support email to dave@superdespairworld.com.
You actually can, or come in the fucking Discord. You can DM me. I think my DMs are closed, but I will recognize you and I will accept you. I will accept your DMs if I know who you are. I think I just turned them off because somebody was being annoying as fuck.
We will help you transfer any amount of money you want out of that Nigerian account. You can count on us.
Yeah, I got a Bitcoin wallet, and it is thirsty, baby. It is thirsty.
What do you mean thirsty? I thought we bought all those despair coins. Whatever happened to those? Those are still worth something, right? Right?
So the thing about that is,
oh God damn it, Dave!
All right, we should talk about this off.
Oh, you bet we will. Okay, that's the 1:30 mark. Thanks for listening, everybody. Have a good night.
Fucking A. Good fight. Good night.